Financial. Here's what you are. Your brother.
I didn't even want to look at it. Every time I even thought about my financial situation, I just thought, you know what? That's making me feel bad. I'm going to go do something fun.
Oh, look at that.
Set it aside, set it aside, set it aside. And then the Lord brought me a friend. Dan Frio is in the third seat. You know what? He brought me a friend in you too, Carl, because you encouraged me to, stop being afraid and believe God for big things. And you're the one who got me in touch with Dan. So, Dan, thanks for coming today.
Betcha. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. He's a mortgage broker and consultant at Premier Financial. But here's what you are. Your brother in Christ. Yeah, you do this for business, but you're here today to answer questions because there's a lot of people who are coming into the Christmas season and we're stressed to the hill.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at things like some people have ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
And those adjustable rates are now going to start going through the roof, right?
You betcha.
So they're stuck in an ARM.
Yep.
And they don't want to talk about it with their husband or wife. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It just
I get it.
gets squiggly out there, man. So first, let's tackle things at face value. Interest rates are going up, man.
It's crazy how quick they went up. The election, within 3 days, rates went up 0.5%. Since that time, they're up about 0.75. That's a huge jump in 3 weeks.
Well, that's
less
almost,
than 30 days. 30 days.
That's almost 20%.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just don't get it.
Okay, so quick one.
Yes.
Is this the wrong time to get refied? I mean, how does it? There must be a rule of thumb here.
We're similar in age.
Yep.
And when I got into this business in 1989, rates were about 12% adjustables. So in the historic value, this is. I mean, rates are still phenomenal.
Junie's eyeballs
just
came
know.
out of her head.
You had a great rate. Yours was So in historic views, rates are still phenomenal. So don't get scared because of that rate increase. I did the numbers the other day on like $190,000 loan. With this rate increase, your payment goes up about $75. $75 is $75.
It is,
but it's not. It doesn't put you over the realm. A lot of people that I talk to that are looking to purchase. Their rents are going from, Junie, you know this.
Yeah.
Rents, I talked to a gentleman the other day, he's paying $2,500 a month in rent.
We just got a letter yesterday that ours is going up.
Yeah.
But
that's nuts. So, in the whole scheme of things, it's a great time to buy. You come off the bottom of home values. And then also, if you're refinancing, it doesn't make sense for some people, if your rate's 4% or whatever. But if you're at 5.5%, 6%, I had somebody email, actually from the show I was on last time, I got an email. He's at 7.5% and just says, I don't trust anybody. I heard you on Carl in June, so I'm reaching out. Can you help me? And those are the people, and that's why, God bless you. Thank you so much for having me on again. Yes.
Yeah, 7.5 fixed.
Yes.
Boy, he's been carrying that note for forever.
Yes. I had another lady, a young woman, the same thing. She has an FHA loan. She was at 6.5%. Since I was here last, we actually closed her, and she went from 6.5 an FHA loan. We're in the 3s.
Okay,
so it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I'd love to start at the beginning, which is what you did with me. And I was so embarrassed at how a mess my finances were. But Dan, I appreciate the way you would email me or you would text me.
Sure.
You would say, Junie, have faith, and then you would give me steps.
Yes.
One at a time.
Yes.
So if someone is thinking there is no possible way I could be a homeowner, what's a first step if your budget's just a wreck?
How do you know? Well, call me. You have to start somewhere. You crawl, you walk, you run. So let's crawl. First of all, the credit scores that you see, those aren't what I see. That's the first thing. Collections, judgments, things like that. How old are they? We're going to walk through that. You might have to pay off some. You might not have to pay off some.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at that. Your budget. Yes, you're not saving any money now. You're maxed out on your credit card, but you're spending $2,500 a month in rent. Well, I couldn't save any money each month either if my rent was $2,500. So, the first step is you need to call, and trust me, and I hope you can vouch for it.
Yeah.
It's not high pressure sales. I'll tell you, here's what I can or can't do, and I'll walk you through it.
Yeah, no, that's powerful.
Okay.
All right. Now, listen, when we get back,
Sure.
You've got a heart for stewardship, big time.
I do, yes.
And that's what drives some of this stuff. What are some of the biggest obstacles that people have that you help them get over? overcoming spiritual obstacles that are getting in the way. We're going to tackle that when we get back.
Dan Frio in the third seat, a brother that I know you can trust. Personally attest to that. Stop by themortgageupdate.net. That's themortgageupdate.net. All kinds of resources there. I love the YouTube videos that Dan has produced. If ever I had a question and I couldn't get a hold of him, which was very rare, I could just pull him up on YouTube and watch a tutorial.
There's
It's
Happy Dan.
awesome.
The old Happy Dan videos. Dan,
There's a bunch.
I made that up. All right. One of the things that we love to do here, that we feel called to do, is help people take their next big step with Jesus Christ. How does refinancing a loan help you take your next big step with Jesus Christ?
Many times people will call me and they're overwhelmed. And Trinity Debt Management is a great company too, and I'm not scheming off on that. But there's a lot of times when I'll get phone calls that people are underwater, and or their bills are X, their income is Y, and they don't equal, and X is bigger than Y. So to me, I can go all day on this, but it's satisfying for me when I can help somebody who's overwhelmed, and you're overwhelmed and you're not thinking clear.
Yeah.
You know, basically you're just, you put your head in the sand many times, and I did the same thing, and you know, you just don't want to come back up. So let me answer that question. I can help. A lot of times what I'll try to do is I'll not only try to refinance your house, I'll try to completely financially budget you, saying, okay, let's do this. Let's refinance your house. We're going to save $300-400 a month there. Let's not blow that. Let's start chiseling down this account. And then so we're going to work on it. I'm going to look at their credit cards. Which one is the highest interest rates? What's this? You know, it might not be a fix overnight, but in a year or 2, 3, you know, then somebody will say, well, I'm going back to a 30-year mortgage. Well, yeah. However, you have credit cards out there. I'm not putting you in more debt. I'm structuring that debt to make sense.
Here's what's cool to me. All of a sudden, when they come and the switch gets flipped on,
Yeah.
and the cockroaches run, and then all the unopened envelopes of high debt credit cards, everything gets exposed. It gets
Yes,
brought into
I
the
know.
light of
And
day,
it freaks people out.
and it can be intimidating.
You betcha. Yeah. And so I'll go back to the 30-year piece. We'll put them in a 30-year term, saving $300-400 a month. Then they start chiseling down their credit cards and their so forth. So then after a year or two, they have those chiseled down. So we took them from saving $300 a month on their mortgage, and now they're saving $500, $600, $700 a month because they don't have credit cards. Now don't just blow that money. Now start sending that money into your mortgage. So you have your monthly debt still, your budget. It might not be the 500 because you were overwhelmed at that time, but send in $200 extra, $100 extra.
That's cool.
You cut off a year, 2 years on your mortgage. I mean, you're talking $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. I don't want you to stretch it out to a 30-year term. I just want you to push everything together, make it make sense, and fit your budget. Sweet.
So we asked our listeners to let us know what questions they had on their heart. I'll never forget this one call. He said, my wife and I, we are currently about to be foreclosed.
Yeah.
And you could just feel the hurt, the disappointment. But a lot of times you found that people just don't know their options.
Oh.
And a Google search will make you
No,
really depressed.
it'll drive you nuts. And I always tell people, even in your situation, I probably mentioned this. If you need advice with your mortgage, please, please, please don't ask mom or dad or a coworker or whatever. Please call me. I trust. Please, this isn't an infomercial. It's not a high pressure sales. I'm here. You go to your minister. You tune into this show for guidance. Please call me for guidance. You don't have to use my services. If you have a brother, sister, relative, somebody in this business, if I can give you some insight on how to fix your solution or how to fix your problem, go to them. You don't have to use me.
So you have to take action right away. I'll never forget you saying that. You got to start now.
Yeah.
Where do we go, Junie?
Themortgageupdate.net. That's the place to go for resources of all kinds. Dan Frio is our guest this morning, and he can help you to take that first step toward the financial freedom Jesus wants for you, so you can give more, serve more, and just be free.
Thank you, Dan.